I have the facts. Noop can take me to court. And the same seven has falsely accused them. But this is what happened, 1 million votes. So, as a consequence of that, I have now got all the evidence that in the last election, Noop cheated by 1 million votes.
What's good, African family? Welcome back to the African Wahala. So, isn't it strange, ironic, when a powerful person has the powers to lie on you, pretend like you committed a crime, arrest you, lock you up, and possibly murder you? That's how it works, unfortunately, in African countries that are led by evil people like this. So that is the president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni. I know some of you guys love him for whatever weird reason it is. A lot of people dislike him. Ask an average Ugandan, they don't like Museveni. The guy has been in power for 40 years, close to 40 years, and he hasn't accomplished anything. Nothing. You just go around Uganda and tell me that the lifestyle of the Ugandans, the lifestyle that they live, is what they deserve. A beautiful country with all types of natural resources and intelligent people, but they've been reduced to nothing because of Museveni. Museveni is accusing Bobi Wine of stealing votes in the last elections in 2021. Now, we all know that Museveni is the king of election rigging. This guy has competed, or rather contested, in elections about 6 times, and he always came out on top, even though he is failing and he has sent majority of the citizens into poverty. Then how come he has the balls to come around in public and accuse Bobi Wine of stealing votes? It's propaganda. That's what it's called. This is called propaganda. And it's it's easily recognizable because these African politicians are actually dumb. They don't have any new strategies to deceive the people. They have no clue what to do to make the people stop asking them questions. It's just impossible. So they keep on rinsing and repeating the same strategies, the same lies and propaganda, and it no longer works. I understand Museveni is close to his 80s, he's 80 something years old. So maybe he thinks this is still 1945, where you can easily lie to people and they would believe. For the record, Museveni, we are in the time of social media. Everybody has access to information. Apart from the fact that Museveni is the king of rigging in Uganda, a known corrupt rigger, an election rigger, he also tried to take the life of Bobi Wine. And you need to understand that we are not necessarily saying that Bobi Wine has what it takes to save Uganda. That's not what we are saying. No. What we are saying is the Ugandan people are sick and tired of Museveni that has been in power for 40 years and has accomplished nothing. The only thing that Museveni has done is he has made himself a billionaire. All his children, all his family members, all his friends and associates are all billionaires. He has completely captured all the institutions in Uganda. The electoral system, the electoral body that he claims that that Bobi Wine manipulated in some way, some magical way, he controls it. The electoral body, Ugandan Electoral Commission, is supposed to be an independent organization that has no influence by the government or the political parties, right? That's what it's supposed to be. But that's not how it works in Uganda. Museveni has full control of the electoral body. So the electoral body works for Museveni. Talking about conflict of interest. How do you expect some entity that works for you to go against you? when they know that if they go against you, they are going to be tortured. Their directors, their leaders, they are probably going to be thrown in prison for giving the right result to the right winner of the elections. So we understand how it works. And the same thing applies to the police institution, the military. All these institutions are controlled by Museveni. And that's why, even though you see the police and the soldiers, they're extremely poor people, like average Ugandan people, they still brutalize the poor Ugandans that are fighting for everybody's betterment because they work for Museveni. He controls them. The heads of the police, the heads of the military, Museveni puts money in their bank accounts, bribes them, make sure that they are loyal. And Museveni said something very, very, very funny. He said, while accusing Bobi Wine of stealing 1 million votes, this clown, Museveni, said, if you don't believe me, tell the NUP to take me to court. What court are you talking about, Museveni? You also control the courts. And that's exactly what these guys do. Museveni controls the judiciary system, the police, the military, the electoral commission. Every single entity in the country is controlled by Museveni. And if you're not a loyalist of Museveni, you will be thrown out. You might even disappear permanently. You will definitely be tortured. That's how it works. And that's why Bobi Wine, even though an attempt was made on his life recently, they shot him with tear gas canister. He survived, thankfully. Many, many attempts have been made on Bobi Wine. The people like Bobi Wine because he's able to stand up and challenge Museveni. Because the truth is, majority of human beings just don't have the courage to stand up and face tyranny head on. Most people would rather hide in the shadows and just try to survive. But people like Bobi Wine have consistently stood up against the tyranny of Museveni, and he has paid the price in multiple ways. But the good thing is, Bobi Wine is also inspiring a bunch of people. There are lots of people that are no longer afraid. They don't give a damn if they get killed or kidnapped by these terrorists. They are going to continue to challenge the government. So no matter how much the government of Uganda thinks it can forcefully use violence to suppress the people of Uganda, they will always come back and fight. You can't kill them all. You just can't kill them all. Hold on a second. I'm going to share something with you quickly.
olw'ebyo tebitusanyusa ade n'alibadde nkusaba walivuddeyo n'odda ku ludda lw'abantu n'omanya ebiruma abantu ne weetondera ensi otufuga mu mbeera embi emisolo miyitirivu totuyisanga bwantu n'abantu be balinamu essuubi ate n'odda kubayisa n'olwekyo mwami Museveni obulaka tusaba ojja weetondere bannansi olw'abantu b'otukunya nabo.
These people are standing up against police brutality after their leader, Bobi Wine, got attacked again by the police. And he's going to translate what he just said in English.
I would like to inform Mr. Museveni that this country is not yours. This country was given to Ugandans by God, not you. Therefore, I'd like to request you kindly be mature, apologize to Ugandans, apologize to the president of people, Robert Chagulanyi Sontamu. We are tired of this kind. We are tired of this kind of treatment, the way you treat Ugandans. After all, we are tired of you. You cannot rule us for more than 40 years, and then you think that we have to always praise whatever you are doing. Yes, I'm from Sembabule, but people of Sembabule, people of Maogola, no, I'm speaking on their behalf. We are tired of the way you treat people. We are tired of every improper treatment you treat to our Ugandans.
Period. The people are tired of Museveni. Forget about what you hear on social media. You see a bunch of, you see, man, honestly, Listen, now, a lot of people try to hype up Museveni simply because he stands up against the West. You know, Western imperialism is rife in Africa. It creates a funnel to loot African resources to the Western part of the world and maintains the status quo in Africa, in which most of the African countries are reliant on Western economies and Africa stays poor, right? So a lot of people are angry with the West, which is understandable. And for that reason, they support Museveni because Museveni stands up against the West in some instances. But overall, let's keep it 100. Overall, is Museveni good for Uganda? Maybe if we want to be fair, we can say in those instances that he stands up against the West, for example, when the weird United States government kept on trying to force their rainbow agenda in Uganda, and Museveni stood up against them, people supported that. But what that tells me is that a broken clock can be correct twice a day. So in those instances where Museveni was good to have stood up against the West, yes, I'll give him some credit. But what amount of credit in terms of percentage do I give him? 1%. The other 99%, he's a criminal. He's supposed to be in prison. This young man on the screen was talking about Museveni needs to come and apologize to Ugandan people. I think he needs to be locked up in prison. Then he can apologize from his prison cell. Because if you count the number of Ugandans that have been killed by the police, by the military, because they took orders from Museveni, then their bloods are all on Museveni's hands. Museveni has killed thousands of people already. Do you know how many corrupt politicians in Uganda steal money that belongs to the poor people and nothing is done about it? The Speaker of the Parliament, Anita Among, she stole money from the Karamoja steel situation. Karamoja steel scandal, Steelgate. I don't understand why a billionaire politician still has the itch to steal from poor people. But that's just how these idiot African politicians are. They are useless. They are completely useless. And that's the bane of the African Wahala. Now, a lot of people also love criticizing Bobi Wine because he romances a little bit too close to the West. You know, you see Bobi Wine. The West is even talking about his recent attack when Museveni and his thugs in police uniform attacked Bobi Wine. They are talking about it in the US Parliament as well, which is a little bit surprising to me, if you ask me. But people have that criticism for Bobi Wine, saying that he's not to be trusted, he's too close in bed with the West. And we all understand that the West has negative agendas for Africa.
Dr. Paul Williams, Mr. Speaker. Bobi Wine is a charismatic, brave and popular Ugandan musician and an MP under his real name.
My bad. I believe this might have been the United Kingdom's parliament.
Robert Chagulanyi. On the 13th of April, along with other Ugandan MPs, he was arrested, detained in military custody, beaten and tortured. This isn't the first time for President Museveni's Uganda. Last year, MP Betty Nambuze was beaten by security forces in the Ugandan parliament. Can the Leader of the House express solidarity with fellow MPs from Commonwealth countries who are trying to protect democracy? And how can the House ask the government to stand up to President Museveni's behaviour through action at the United Nations, the Commonwealth, and by using Magnitsky legislation?
Yes, it's good that Bobi Wine has some support from the international community, but we also understand that the international community, especially the United Kingdom, the United States, many Western countries, they want Africa to remain a poverty-stricken land. That's exactly what they want. Because if Africa remains that way, and I'm not talking about the regular citizens of Europe, I'm talking about the people in control of your countries. They want African countries to remain perpetually poor and confused because that is how they have access to the resources in Africa, point blank and period. You don't have to pretend like you don't know. And if you don't know, go educate yourself. I'm not going to go too deep into the details in this video, but these are some of the criticisms that people have for Bobi Wine. And that's why me, the African Wahala, personally, I root for Bobi Wine, but I'm not even 100% sure if he can save Uganda. But let me know what you think in the comment section of the video. Smash the like button if you like this type of content, talking about the African Wahala, African politics, why Africa remains at the bottom of the food chain, the reasons we point fingers to the right people. Let me know what you think in the comment section and subscribe to the channel. Peace.